All right, what is going on, fellas? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super video. As you can probably tell, I'm sure you all know the news by now. First of all, I want to start out by saying rest in peace to Akira Toriyama and condolences to all of his family and friends as well. I know this is a really tough time. He actually passed away about a week ago, actually exactly a week ago from when I'm making this video, I think. And the news just broke last night. So the point of this video isn't to like get everybody emotional or anything like that. I haven't personally watched anybody else's, rest in peace Toriyama videos. I got a little bit of my own opinion on some of that going on, but that isn't the point of any of this. The point is to actually celebrate the life and legacy of Akira Toriyama. About a week or so ago, I probably would have been a little bit more emotional, probably would have had some different outlooks on some things. But some of you guys probably know that this past weekend, I actually just attended a funeral. And that changed me a little bit, gave me a different perspective on some things. And then this happens a couple of days later. So I look at things a little bit differently now after that because it's been such a long time since I've attended a funeral, like well over a decade. Um, so I wanted to kind of like reminisce over, my experiences, my love for Toriyama's creations and ideas and things like that. And I also wanted to ask you guys what his legacy meant to you. And I'm gonna end this video on a question too, with something that I wrote down as well. But I can remember all the way back when I was like, man, I had to be like 5 or 6 years old, bro. I remember the very first Dragon Ball Z game that I had, Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22 on PlayStation 1. A lot of you guys probably have never heard of that before. Some of you older heads, y'all probably played that game as well. That I can't say it was a good game, but back in the day, it did the job. I mean, even back in school, man. Like I remember in elementary school, I used to be so obsessed. I know a lot of you guys like drew Dragon Ball stuff when you were kids, like I did. Bro, I used to get in trouble in school. I was so obsessed with just drawing the shape of like Super Saiyan hair, man. That was my favorite thing ever. I probably have notebooks still at my mom's house in the closet somewhere. My two favorite things to draw were like Super Saiyan Future Trunks and Super Saiyan 3 Goku, man. Like I was obsessed with drawing the hair. I remember the first Dragon Ball Z movies I had, man. Dragon Ball, it was the Cooler's Revenge movie and the Return of Cooler movie. I had both of those on VHS, man. And just randomly, I don't even know where this came from or where I got it. I had the Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus Baby fight too. That was on DVD. Like I said, I have no idea where that came from, but they're probably still at my mom's house to this day. Um, I remember getting Legacy of Goku 2 for Christmas one year, man. And I remember that Christmas so vividly. My cousin was over, and I low key like stayed up all night because he wanted Legacy of Goku 2 also. But I didn't know if he knew what the shape of the box meant, like looked like under the tree. But I knew, I knew that's what it was. I had my eyes on that box the whole night. I slept in the living room that Christmas. I remember. Bro, I remember when Dragon Ball Fighters oh my god, and you couldn't even really play you couldn't play with friends like that the first like what week or something like that. You couldn't really play online at all. The lobbies were all messed up, but then it ended up becoming one of the greatest anime games of all time. Xenoverse 2 dropping the year after I got out of high school, man. I couldn't really experience that like when it dropped as much as I wanted to because I was in my first year of college. But then Xenoverse ended up being like one of the longest running anime games, and it's still running to this day. Dude, it's just, man, Dragon Ball has just been such a huge part of my life. And then when I started YouTube, a lot of you guys probably don't know. When I started YouTube, I wasn't doing anime at all. When I was still doing YouTube like while I was in college. But when I started YouTube, I was doing like Injustice videos. I was doing like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. A lot of you guys probably don't know that, but then um, I found Dokkan, and somehow I ended up like meeting Truth somehow, the Truth DT, and then we became really tight. And then he introduced me to the rest of the homies, and the rest is history. So like because Dragon Ball, I have all the connections that I have today. And then around like I want to say mid 2018, I discovered Dragon Ball fan mangas again, like for the first time since I had ever heard of like the Dragon Ball AF stuff. And I rediscovered a deeper passion for Dragon Ball that I didn't even know that I had like a little bit later on in my age. Um and I started getting a deeper understanding of like Toriyama and I guess you could say in a way mangaka themselves. When I started actually trying to study his works instead of just reading it and being a fan and things like that. And as you guys know, I do a lot of like what if stories and things like that. Some of them a little goofy, some of them that you guys really love, and I take pride in a lot of those, well, all of those actually. And just trying to study Toriyama and emulating, his works in my own way, that became a huge part of my life later on. And I just grew this deeper appreciation for everything he's done, everything he's created. And people like him as well, like Kishimoto. And another great that really hurt me when he left us, Takahashi, because Yu-Gi-Oh was also a massive part of my childhood, just as much as Dragon Ball, if I'm being honest. But yeah, you guys know that I'm a writer, so I didn't want to ramble on too much of this video. I actually wrote something down to kind of make my thoughts a little bit more cohesive because I didn't want to end up doing this for like 15 minutes. So I didn't write this to get anybody emotional or anything like that. I didn't write this to overreact. That's another thing I kind of want to touch on too, the negative comments that I'm starting to see online now that Toriyama has passed away. Obviously, that's really distasteful and people are going to do that. So that'll probably be a reason that I'll just try to stay off of social media for maybe like the next week or so. But so I don't think I've ever written anything addressing anyone I don't know besides maybe a pen pal in middle school or something like that. But I feel like this is better than just rambling. You put a lot of smiles on millions of faces. You gave millions of kids a gateway into anime through your ideas and creations, and you also gave others the hope and the blueprints to follow in your footsteps and intertwine anime into mainstream media. If there's one thing I wish I could tell you besides thank you, it's that you're loved and honored across the globe. No matter the color, the gender, and even the age, as we've seen with things like the parades, the stadiums, the memes, the peak of Dragon Ball Super, y'all were there. Y'all remember that. Your impact will be celebrated long after even my own generation is gone. I wish you could have seen the release of Sparking Zero. I wish you could see the first episode of Daima debut. I really wish you could see Sandland animated. And I wish you could see how much everyone, family, friends, millions of people you've never even met, you left an impact on all of us. All of us. Your ideas and creations have been in my life since I was a toddler. Without you creating something that I have such a passion over, I'd be doing anything else, which means that I probably wouldn't be happy. So knowing that you lived a life of fulfillment and doing what you were passionate about for so many years, I try to suppress the sadness and hope others can do the same. And remember that you aren't really gone. You live on through your own family, first and foremost, and your ideas and creations and close friends, and also all of us who you impacted for decades. Thank you for everything that you created, and thank you for everything that you've done for my life without even knowing. The friends that I've made because of what you created bringing us together, the community who collectively shares love for you and your work, and everything you've done to break down the doors for those coming after you. If I decide to share this letter with anyone besides myself, I want to end this by saying that departure should be accompanied by celebration, not just sadness. Celebrate the works, life, and legacy of Akira Toriyama alongside mourning his passing. Thank you, my GOAT, and rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. And I wanted to end this video by asking what his legacy meant to you and what impact his ideas and creations had on you throughout your life. So yeah, like I said, guys, the point of this video wasn't to make anybody emotional. I want everybody to remember that you should try to celebrate the life and legacy as well. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be emotional, but you really want to celebrate the life and legacy too. But yeah, down below in the comments, alongside answering the question that I just asked you guys, if you don't mind, just leave down some long live Akira Toriyamas down below. Appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.